Tip your hat on anything.
Nope, nothing. All right, here we go.
We are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, it's like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks Show, episode 511, part of the Lineups Podcast Network at lineups.com, the Big Heads Media Network at bigheadsmedia.com, and Dash Radio. Mark, we have some stuff to talk about today.
Has stuff actually happened?
Stuff has happened.
Do you want to set the scene for everyone?
So this is going to be our draft reaction episode. Mark has gone dark since 4 p.m.
Not blackface, just dark.
Yes. So he has no idea what has happened. And
Around 4 p.m. I turned everything off. I don't know. I knew about the trade. At least I know about the trade that traded with a 36th or 38th pick and the 27th pick to get to 24. So I know, or 23. So I know about that trade. I know about nothing since.
Okay, so this should be interesting then.
So I'm going to try to guess all the picks 1 through 10, including the Knicks pick. I'm going to guess if there are any trades. Jay will give me some hints on stuff. We'll see how it goes. I have some general theories going into the draft.
Okay.
So I figured there are, barring a Westbrook trade happening today. I mean, barring this, first of all, Jay is doing a good job of not reacting good or like positive or negative. He hasn't tipped his hand. This could be the worst day in Knicks history for all I know. Jay has not tipped his hand. Jay could be quitting the show tonight. I don't know. Or it could be a great night. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I had 3 potential trades. I thought the Knicks, and I don't have it all worked out, but 3 potential things the Knicks could do. One, and Rose, there's been a lot of news about what Leon Rose is going to do. And I'm wondering if he a guy where all the news will swirl and then you find out what everyone was talking about was actually going to happen? Or is he a guy that where you won't know what's going to happen? Like we heard no chatter about him moving up from 27 to 23 before it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's a guy that's going to be puts a lot of smoke out there, but you don't know what he's going to do till he actually does it.
Yeah.
So the 3 possible trades. 1, go for broke. He trades to Golden State to get the number 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell Robinson, the 8th pick and the 23rd pick, possibly the Dallas pick from next year also. With the theory being for the Knicks, LaMelo. He thinks LaMelo's the star. We need a point guard. This is going to be his big move to like, I'm in New York. Here's my splash. Golden State, they need a big man. Mitchell Robinson will make a big difference. They still get someone good at 8, and they get someone good at 23. It helps both teams. This is a logical move. I don't like the move. I'm not dying to give up so many. I don't believe necessarily in LaMelo. I won't be mad if they get him. I don't necessarily believe in him, though, as being not a great shooter, not great on defense, but an excellent playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love giving up Mitchell Robinson, but it's not a center league, so I can understand it. The next move, the other 2 moves basically are very similar. It's either swapping with Cleveland or swapping with Chicago. With Cleveland, it involves some version of giving up, probably giving up the 23rd pick, the 8th pick, maybe a pick next year because the Knicks always throw in extra picks, but basically taking on Kevin Love's contract, or with Chicago, sorry, not with Chicago. Is Drummond in Chicago now? Detroit, sorry. Yeah. Or with Detroit taking, he's on Detroit right now, right? Am I losing my mind?
Yeah.
So Drummond. So it's either taking on Drummond's contract or Love's contract. And the idea is they're going to move up for the player they want. It's a decent chance the player they want is Obi Toppin. Don't love that, but we'll see. Anyway, so those are 3 trades I can see the Knicks making. I think if the Knicks made a trade.
Drummond's in Cleveland.
Cleveland, that's what I meant. Cleveland, sorry.
Thank you, Andrew.
Oh, they have both Love and Drummond's contract.
Yeah,
wow.
That's not great.
So somehow the Knicks will end up with both Love and Drummond's contract in this trade. So that would be a possibility also.
Mm-hmm.
If they made any trade, My prediction is they made the trade with Cleveland, and Drummond is now a Knick. That's my prediction.
Okay. All right. So
Um,
let's just go with the draft then. Well,
okay, and then the draft. Before we get to the players, I have 3 players I predict that would be a decent chance of ending up as a Knick.
Mhm.
My number 1, Toppin. He plays no defense. I mean, he does not look like he's a good defender. He looks just like the Knicks are really big in going after bigs. They can't cover people on defense. Amari, Bargs, Randall, Cantor, all guys that are good on offense. Well, Bargs wasn't so good on offense, but guys who
well,
are going to be
Barnes averaged 20 a
liabilities.
game for a while.
Bargs was good. Yeah, you're right. He was. Anyway, so he scares me the most of all the guys. Toppin apparently started playing. He grew like 6 inches as a junior of high school, and so I guess he had trouble initially getting into like a big school. Ended up in Dayton. Was very good there, but the competition is much weaker. Anyway, I think it's going to be Toppin, Okoro, or Vessel, or Devin Vessel. I think those are the most likely candidates for the Knicks to take. But I'm going to guess as we do the draft who they actually ended up with.
Okay.
So first pick of the draft, Minnesota. I'm going to guess. You're gonna when we get to the pick, just let me know if it's a trade. Okay.
Yep.
Minnesota keeps the pick. They look at the draft and they say, best player available. That makes the most sense. Wiseman does not make any sense for Minnesota because pairing him with Towns does not make any sense. They took Edwards. 100% they took Edwards.
Yes. I mean, that was probably the only lock pick, I would say.
Very logical. No reason you don't. I mean, you're not going to pair. You already have a point guard. The LaMelo and Wiseman don't make sense for them, so you have to go with Edwards. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Number 2, Golden State. I'm going to guess they kept the pick. Did they keep the pick?
They did.
Okay. I thought there was an outside shot. I could see the Knicks have made this trade, but obviously they did not. They're not going to take LaMelo because it's not going to make sense. Their offense, obviously, they have a great offense. I think they took Wiseman. I think this is one of the obvious ones.
Their big hole was a big man, yeah. So they took Wiseman.
Okay.
So far, this draft is making a lot of sense.
Okay. Quick analysis. What do you think of Edwards for Minnesota?
Edwards, I think, is basically the best choice for them. I'm a little worried that Edwards kind of said he picked basketball because he's good at it, not because he loves it. But he looks like a really good player, and he seems like a decent fit for what they have right now.
Yeah, I mean, you go with the best player, see if you can develop him. And Golden State, Wiseman seems like you need a big, right?
Yeah. I mean that was their biggest need. So
okay, Charlotte. Here, I guess the next best player is LaMelo. You're Charlotte. Charlotte kept the pick.
They did.
Okay. Here, LaMelo is the big name. You're Charlotte. You do not have a big name. I know who's their point guard? Devontae Graham is their best. But you could probably shift them over. Like you could play two point guardish guys together. We're positioned as basketball. I don't think those were really the big 3. I cannot see them. Did they take Melo?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
So 3 for 3 so far.
Okay. Those are the easiest choices, most logical. Knicks didn't get Melo, whatever. Jay's like, why do we even talk about Melo before this? I know we didn't get. Okay. Next, the Bulls.
This is a 3-way trade.
Holy shit.
You're never going to guess it, so I'm just going to throw it out there.
Wait. Can you just tell me by the way, you said there's a trade that happened before the draft?
Yeah.
Do you want to just fill me in real quick? What was am I going to guess that one or no?
No, none of these trades are going to be obvious. So
what was the pre-draft?
Well, before
trade?
last episode, we had Chris Paul getting traded to the Suns for Oubre, Rubio, Jerome Leque, or whatever his name is, and a first rounder. So
yeah,
works for both teams. I like it. I'm liking the Thunder team a lot right now.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they got Oubre. Why do you like the Thunder team? I mean, we can go into this, talk about.
Oubre had a good year. Rubio is still a solid point guard. I don't think it's a huge drop off, and they get a first rounder out of it.
Yeah, I love all their assets. I love
Mhm.
what they can build there, basically.
Yeah.
They have Shea, like the okay, so what was the trade that happened before the draft?
So then you had Portland, Houston. Portland got Robert Covington. Houston got Trevor Ariza and the number 16 pick and a second round pick.
I thought that trade happened. That happened today. I thought it happened. I thought that happened before.
That was, I don't know, this week. It was since last episode.
Okay, I thought you said like a trade happened right before the draft.
So right before the draft, there was
the Dennis Schroeder trade, but that was like a couple days ago.
Yeah, and the Danny Green trade. So Danny Green got traded again.
Oh, Danny Green got traded again.
Yeah.
Where'd he?
He went.
That makes okay.
He went to Philly.
Oh, that makes sense because I was thinking if I'm Oklahoma, do I really want Danny Green? I'm just going to use him as an asset to flip him. What'd they get for him?
So it was Green and Ferguson, and they got Al Horford, the rights to Misick, who's supposedly one of the better guards in Europe right now.
Oh,
a 2025 first rounder and a 2020 second rounder.
I mean, they have all. I mean, Oklahoma may have all the picks of every team in the NBA now. But what do you think of that trade, Horford? I mean, Philly wants to dump the contract. I guess this guy in Europe must be pretty darn good for them to do this.
Yeah. I mean, Horford contract's really bad, but if the guy in Europe's good, and then you get a 2025 first rounder, Philly's probably going to suck by then.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're not using your contract, your cap for anything else.
And Houston traded Ariza again.
Oh my! Houston's really going to rebuild mode. Where'd they trade him?
To Detroit.
Oh.
So they traded they also gave up a 2020 first rounder. And
they gave up their first rounder from this year, Houston?
Yeah, for a future first rounder.
Okay.
I guess they just thought it was weak.
Okay. So you're saying Chicago made this trade. You don't think I'm okay? Tell me the teams involved. Like, you think I'm not going to have any chance of getting this?
No. Chicago, Dallas, and New York.
Oh shit! It is a New York trade. Oh my god! I see your. Okay, the New York got the 4 pick. Is that right?
No.
New York did not get the number 4 pick.
No.
Okay, so it's New York, Chicago, and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
What in God's name would New York want if they're not getting? Who's their point guard in Chicago?
Doncic?
Zach LaVine.
Oh.
Is Zach LaVine a Knick?
No.
Okay. Are the Knicks the third team in this trade or a major part of this trade?
They're a major part.
Are we going to end the podcast based on this trade?
You look so nervous.
Holy crap.
Did you?
Okay, so
just unrelated question. Did you like Porzingis when he was on the Knicks?
Stop it. He's not back on the Knicks. You're messing with me. This trade didn't happen.
You got me.
What? Okay, nothing happened here, right?
No, nothing happened.
Chicago kept the. I was like, what the hell could have happened here?
Just make it.
Knicks didn't get forward. Do you like? Okay, so 4th pick, Chicago. I think they want Denny. That guy's supposed to be a good shooter, small forward, fits in Chicago. That's what they went with.
No.
Okay, hang on. Wait.
This is
Okongwu, the center.
Nope.
Okay, 3rd pick and the 3rd guess, and then you're just going to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Okoro.
Nope.
Okay, why don't you just tell me the answer?
Patrick Williams.
Wow.
Yeah,
he really shot up the board.
Kind of random.
Yeah, I mean, people love the comparison I've heard a lot with Montreal Harrell. Obviously, Harrell's good, but this guy is like Harrell. He's undersized, supposed to be super athletic, but he didn't play like He wasn't like a full-time. I think the guy only played part-time this past year.
It was a strange pick.
Yeah. I mean, I know people think he's really good, but he wasn't like, I don't know. That's a strange pick.
Yeah.
What do you think of Chicago's roster now?
It's strange.
So you got Marketing, you got Wendell Carter, which I still think they said that Chicago had offered Wendell Carter for the number 2 pick from Golden State. I don't know why. Number 4 and Wendell Carter for the number 2. I would have done that.
I guess they really liked Wiseman.
Yeah, they must really like Wiseman. But Wendell Carter, Marketing, you got Zach LaVine, you got the guy they drafted last year. It's a weird roster.
Very weird roster.
Okay, number 5. I wouldn't have no problem with Patrick Williams off the board. Didn't really want him. Number 5 is Cleveland. Knicks made a trade with Cleveland. Yes or no?
Cleveland kept their pick.
Whoa. Okay, so I don't think the Knicks made a trade then. So then the Cleveland, the dumbest thing they could do is taking an undersized guard right now, because that would be the league would just veto that move. Like, we're gonna take an undersized guard here. You have enough undersized guards. Take a different position. I think I can see them taking a center. Maybe a Kongwu. I bet they took Toppin. Actually, they have Kevin Love, so it's probably not going to make sense.
And Drummond.
And Drummond. You're right. That's not going to make sense either. They took Denny.
They did not.
Okay. I'm wrong. They
The
took
draft got really weird after the first 3.
What'd you say?
The draft got kind of weird after the first 3.
Hey, this is a weird draft. Okay, they took Okoro.
They did, yeah.
Okay. So I'm happy because I did not want Okoro the Knicks. Fine player. He's free throw. He was a poor free throw shooter. We don't need a second one of those on the Knicks. He's supposed to be a guy that if he learns to shoot, which is always a concerning thing to say about a draft pick for the Knicks. Okay, number 6, Atlanta. If you're Atlanta, you probably do not need a wing. You don't need someone else for Trey. You don't need another point guard, right?
Right.
You have
Trey Young.
You got Trey Young. You got Collins. You got a power forward. Maybe a Kongwu fits next to Collins because you need more. I think he's probably better. I think they took a Kongwu.
You are pretty good at this.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think they need a center. It would make sense to pair him with Collins. You need some defense. Number 7, Detroit. The Knicks did not trade with Detroit. Detroit kept their pick. Unless the Celtics. Now, Detroit kept the pick.
Detroit kept the pick.
Okay. No trades, huh?
This has probably been, I can't even remember a draft where there wasn't at least a few trades in the top 10.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, if you look back, though, I mean, a lot of those trades do not work out. Like the Tatum trade or the, they work out for one team, just horribly for the other team.
Yeah.
Not that Trae Young's bad, but Doncic was
It didn't work out for Atlanta.
Yeah. Yes. Detroit, number 7. They need a lot. You got Blake Griffin. You don't got much else. But I think if they're looking to make, I kind of just want Toppin to go here, so he's not an option for the Knicks. So I'm going to say Toppin.
It was not Toppin.
Okay. I thought maybe like big offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm Detroit, I want a point guard. Is it Halliburton or is it Killian Hayes? I think they took Killian Hayes.
You are correct.
Oh, okay. I think that's a good pick. He has a high ceiling. I would have liked Killian Hayes. God damn it, we're on the Knicks.
So we're up to the Knicks. The
Knicks kept their pick.
The Knicks kept the pick. There's a lot of point guards on the board.
Okay, so right now on the board, Tyrese Halliburton would be a reasonable guy to take.
Mm-hmm.
Kyra Lewis, reasonable guy to take. Is there any other point guards I am missing? Those are the 2 best point guards on the board right now, I think.
Cole Anthony.
Right? Cole Anthony's garbage. if they took Cole Anthony now, we could just end the show and call it okay, let's fire Rose right now. Cole Anthony, if they take Cole Anthony with number 23 pick, fine. But not
So ESPN
really
had Halliburton as the best player available at this
okay.
time.
That's fine. I'm looking. I took a picture of a mock draft here from Tankathon. I'm not going to remember everyone's name, but I'm going off the mock draft here, which the mock draft here had Halliburton at number 4, but I didn't think he'd go that high. I think Halliburton would be a reasonable guy to take here. He has a weird shot, but it seems to go in college. They say he's an okay passer, not an amazing passer. Not some people say he's not a lead guard. He's got a good tool set. I feel like he's a guy everyone's kind of talking down, yet he was very productive in college and could be very productive in the pros. I wouldn't mind Halliburton. I'm going to say that they did not take Halliburton. Don't correct me yet.
Okay.
I think if they're going to take a point guard here, I think they want to take what's his name? Kyra Lewis. He's 6'3". He's supposed to be the fastest point guard. If you really want to push the ball, he's the guy. His defense is so-so. I think they were talking somewhat maybe like you might want to trade down to get him, but he might be the guy here. The other guys they might consider, we said Okoro won already, right? So
yeah, Okoro went 5th.
Yeah. So I think the only other guys they might take would be Toppin or Vassell. Vassell seems like the safer choice and kind of the lamer choice. I don't think they did that. So I really think it's Toppin versus the 2 point guards.
There's also the guy from Israel who's supposed to be pretty good.
Who's the guy from Israel? Who am I missing?
Denny?
Didn't I say Vassell? Yeah, Denny Vassell.
No, Denny.
Devin Vassell.
Denny
Denny.
Avija.
Wait, who's Denny then?
Denny Avija. He's from Israel.
Am I missing? Oh, yeah. Oh, he hasn't gone yet. Clearly, also, you brought him up because he's the guy that went to the Knicks. Did Denny go to the Knicks?
Is that your pick?
Is that my final answer, huh? He's small forward. I thought he would go already, so I didn't think he would be here. And I think the Knicks probably look at it that way also. I don't know. The Knicks are just too. I think they took Kyra Lewis.
Final answer?
That's my final answer. Yeah.
Okay. They took Obi Toppin. They took Obi Toppin. Are you shocked the ex-CAA agent took the CAA player?
I mean, hopefully that's congratulations to Leon Rose's son, because I think it's his client. You kind of hope the Knicks just do something that's like not goddamn brain dead for once.
No, never.
I would have been like, if they went all in and got LaMelo, I would have said, LaMelo looks like an elite playmaker. There are a lot of weaknesses in his game. I don't love having LeVar, but whatever. They took a point guard and said, like, hey, it's been a kind of an issue for the last 20 goddamn years. Point guard, we're going to take one of the point guards, Halliburton. Take a undersized. We'll take a Kyra Lewis. We're going to develop them because we so badly need a point guard. The Knicks are definitely trading for Westbrook. This organization is so goddamn stupid. The Toppin pick, how do you feel about it?
Poorly. I feel very bad. They always take a big man that doesn't play defense. They trade for them. They sign them in free agency. They draft them. Point guard.
I'm just going to let me finish 9 and 10, and then we can go back to Toppin.
Do you even care about 9 and 10 at this point?
I just want to see if I can get it goddamn right, Jay.
Okay.
Number 9, the Wizards. The Wizards have Beal. They have Ball. They took I said Okongwu won already, right? Okongwu won already.
Yeah.
They took a Vita. Denny.
Yes.
Okay. And then the Suns, they probably kept the pick. Suns are looking interesting right now. They probably took Vassell.
They did not. Vassell went 11th to the Spurs.
Okay. So then they took, what else would they need? Maybe they took Tyrese Halliburton. because he's not necessarily like a guy that has to be your point guard.
He went 12th to the Kings.
Okay, well, good job with the Kings.
I think ESPN had Halliburton as the number 3 guy.
He could be pretty good. I don't know who won 10th.
Jalen Smith.
I was not going to guess that guy because he's 20th on this mock draft. I'm not.
He's a
I don't
happy
know.
guy right now.
Hey, so the Knicks do anything else? And you got to trade like what pick are we up to?
I'm going to refresh. We are up to the 17th pick. So it's been
Knicks,
an hour and 45 minutes, and they've gone through 16 picks.
Okay, so the 23rd pick, they might get a point guard there. I know people have said that maybe the Knicks will focus on a point guard with their second pick because what you do is if you don't have a point guard for 20 years, you don't correct that shit. You just keep going with like it being not a priority.
Just get more big men that don't play defense.
Maybe the point guard you take at 23 will really be good. All the other teams are going to be like, point guards. We don't need point guards. The 20. I mean, there's a couple guys at point guard. They talk about the guy Flynn, Malachi Flynn, Tyrell Terry, who could be good. But come on, they're going in the 20s. How great could they be?
So Randall's gone, right?
I mean, how? Who the hell wants that contract?
Somebody who
you have to give up an asset. You'll have to give the 23rd pick to get someone to take Randall.
Somebody who is having a fire sale because Harden requested a trade.
I mean, is there a trade that's been made that I don't know about? Are you?
No, I'm just thinking maybe they trade Randall and something for Westbrook.
Oh yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Which is funny because 3 days ago we said if they draft Toppin and trade for Westbrook, we're quitting the show, and now it's looking more and more likely that's going to happen.
I mean, if the Knicks went all in and got Drummond and Westbrook, and then somehow got Hayward also, because there's like we are basically just we are a toxic waste dump for contracts. Just give us all the bad contracts. At least you could be like, well, they have Drummond, they have Gordon Hayward, they have Westbrook. Maybe we'll get to this is interesting. This is just shit. What do you have here now? Are you really believing that like Mitchell Robinson's defense makes up for Toppin not playing defense? I watched his highlights. I was not impressed. The guy's 22 years old. He was a 21-year-old freshman. He just doesn't look agile. Like he does not look like he can keep up with a defender.
Yeah, but Frank's so good on defense, it doesn't matter who else you have.
Holy shit! So what's the lineup like? So what do you think the package for Westbrook? What do you think the package for Westbrook looks like? Why did they even trade up to get the number 23 pick? Why? What was the point of going from 27 to 23 and giving up this 38th pick?
We'll find out in 3.5 hours when that pick happens.
Holy crap. I mean, really, what's the guy? I assume they used the 23rd pick because they were trying to trade up. But who were they trading up for if they got Toppin? They thought that was going to get them to LaMelo?
I think they were trying to trade the 8 and the 23.
For what, though? Like, who was your target? Was there another guy? There's a guy that won already that was like, were they targeting Killian Hayes?
Who knows? I can't even, maybe. Because the rumor is they were trying to get the 4 pick, I think, or the 5.
They were trying to trade with Cleveland.
I don't know.
But, I mean, every year now, I'm just like, at least Barrett, I was like, yeah, that's exactly who we wanted. He'll be good, hopefully. But every other year, I'm just like, what the hell with this pick? Well, I mean, Frank, I was fine. Not to like, obviously, Porzingis, we were on board with. Frank, I was like, yeah, he sounded good from him, everything. He obviously hasn't worked out as well. Knox, I just thought was a completely idiotic pick. And people gave me crap afterwards. And Toppin pick, I think this is a terrible pick.
I don't like it. I just got a tweet. I think this is true. So far, the head coach is CAA. 6 of the 11 coaches that were interviewed were CAA. The assistant coaches all 3 are CAA clients. And now the first round pick is a CAA client. So maybe when we do mock trades, we'll just have to pull up the CAA roster and eliminate anybody who's not on that. I mean, seems
But
like that's the way it's
the
going.
sticking point in the Westbrook trade is not what the Knicks will give up. It's just like, Westbrook, you have to join CAA. He might be a CAA client already, but
So, Virulent is saying that there was a rumor that they were considering trading up to 5 to get Toppin.
the Knicks are like, we need to trade the 1 to get the Toppin. And the rest of the league is like, you could wait for the second round. We don't want him.
I mean, at this point, teams are going to know that they only go after CAA guys and just start messing with the Knicks.
I mean, I never in any other sport was like, who is he represented by? In baseball, there's Scott Boras, and he's a big-time agent. He matters only because he's clients. He expects the client to get paid. But it's not like you could. This is just absurd. And CAA is a big agency, so a lot of players are their clients. But like, you got to diversify a little bit.
I feel like if the Knicks were poker players, they'd be playing with their cards facing the opponents.
Yeah, that's pretty much. And like, really, and like, you're like, hey, you only have 4 cards? You're like, yeah, I ate one of the cards. I mean, let's just talk about the positives of Toppin.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to be a very good offensive player. That said, he was in a weaker conference. He was older than his competition because he was 22.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't have a lot of. They said he didn't really have a lot of. There were a lot of challenging big men. There's not a lot of tough big men he went against in his conference.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought you were supposed to be positive just now.
I'm positive that I'm close to ending the show. I mean, this is just the Mets have hired a new owner. I mean, actually, Robinson Cano today, they found out he was on PEDs and he's suspended for the season. It doesn't even matter. It's not a big deal that he's gone. The Mets will spend money. They have it's like a very positive world there. Like you're seeing like things are going to work out. We're going to spend big. We're going to go analytics. We're going to do everything right. Things are going to work out. The Knicks are a goddamn black hole for like happiness. Dolan's got to sell the team. Like, is it Dolan's fault? I mean, it's Dolan's fault he hires these people. But like,
that's the name of this episode. The Knicks are a black hole for happiness.
I mean, yes, that's fair.
So everyone follow this Twitch stream because we're going to be playing video games on it instead of talking about the Knicks if they got the team for an aging star next week.
Holy, what's the
video game suggestions?
So the Knicks are going to trade for some star player, whether it be Westbrook,
more and more like it. Yeah, they can't,
or maybe Hayward.
Randall no longer makes sense,
right? I mean, they draft this guy and they don't even play him behind Randall because they were like, we already have a guy not playing defense and playing like, or they try to pair them together like it's Melo and Anthony again. I mean, Melo and Armari again.
And then what do you do with RJ? Do you just go super big? Like, I know the East is big, but like,
what do you mean? RJ will play the 3. Oh, you can't pair them, obviously. Toppin's a power forward.
Mitch, Toppin, Randall, RJ, and Frank.
That lineup would just be like surrendering. Is Toppin the pick where you're like, hey, how do we like covertly tank?
I mean, no, I don't.
I know they're not doing that because that would be insane. But like, I guess you really are looking at a lineup of Mitch, Toppin is your power forward. I would think RJ is your 3. You've no one that could shoot.
No outside shooting.
I think Toppin can shoot from the outside. I don't know. Not like amazing. Like it doesn't shoot a lot of threes. You have, I guess, if you get Westbrook, you have a point guard that can really dish.
Once he gets his 20, yeah.
And also, like, you know what? Like, on the one hand, I'm like, don't give up assets for a guy like Westbrook because it's stupid. On the other hand, I'm like, why keep assets? We're just going to flush them in the toilet.
I don't know.
You might as well give the draft picks to other teams that will actually use them in a non-offensive way.
Did we have anything else planned, or do you want to go to emails and Facebook and all that?
I don't know. Am I supposed to like cry on this episode? Because I might.
Maybe.
We can go to. Do we have emails and stuff? Let's go do those. I'll bring up Facebook now that I'm live on this side. Let's go to.
Now that you're officially broken. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Axel writes, what do you guys think about the reported trade rumor that has Randall going to the Jazz in exchange for Mike Conley and draft considerations probably being a first-round pick. I think it would be great for both sides. Utah saves cap space. It gets a sixth man that can score because that's what they need. We got a future pick and a decent veteran lead point guard. Conley's contract is huge, but ends after the season, while Randall's is until 2022. That means we could splash big in 2021 free agency. It was supposed to be really good, and offer Andre Drummond the Supermax for 5 years and bench Mitch again this upcoming season. That one had a little bit of a twist at the end.
Yeah, the Drummond thing. Well, Conley gets injured. Jazz are not going to take on a worse contract. And the only thing is, like, I know Conley's more money, but like, it's if his contract's up after the season, it's an expiring versus Randall's not an expiring.
Mm-hmm.
So isn't Randall isn't it the Knicks' choice? Isn't it a team option or is it a player option?
I think it's a team option.
Yeah, so we only have really one more year left on Randall.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to. You could also put Randall on the bench and just keep him. I mean, like,
yeah.
It's
good to have a guy you're paying $20 million a year to on the bench. It's a good idea.
Who cares? If the Knicks are willing to, if Jazz want to give up a draft pick, then by all means, we'll take whatever shit you want to throw at us. But when you heard draft pick, I was like, now they're giving up the 2021 draft pick to get Conley. What's the next email? I'm really in a sad place right now.
It's from Paul. His favorite line of, I think 2 episodes ago was you when they said, did you hire a high-profile point guard? And you said, no, we hired someone in accounting, just letting you know. That was like the Knicks' big off-season.
Yeah.
Haggai writes, Barrett and Randall for Heald, Barnes, and number 12. Barnes only sucks if you use him in ISO. We could still get Van Fleet, Gallo, whoever in free agency. I don't think they trade Heald.
I was gonna say I don't think the Knicks trade RJ, but yeah, but that too. I don't think either team would do it.
And he says, what if it was our pick and Randall for Buddy and Barnes?
Our pick, the 8th pick that we just gave up, or like,
yes.
Or next.
So,
yeah, I mean,
knowing now what we know, actually, I probably would have done it either way.
Right, I would do it either way, especially knowing what the Knicks were actually going to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, in retrospect, I would have preferred the Knicks traded back far enough that Toppin would be off the board. That would be my number one priority.
Oh my God. David writes, trade our late first round pick we got from Marcus Morris and absorb DeMar DeRozan's the last year of his contract.
DeRozan did re-up. Yeah.
Without re-upping, I would have said yeah, but I don't want him multiple years.
Yeah. No, I mean DeRozan he just re-upped for this year. It was a player option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just 1 year, but I mean DeRozan would be fine. I mean, but it's also what's the point of San Antonio doing it? Like if it's an expiring contract, you need to get something back for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what's the point also? Like the Knicks are gonna get DeRozan and Westbrook and like have literally no future, but like, hey, at least the Knicks are relevant again. That's the more I hate when I hear people say, at least the Knicks are like, well, we just want to be relevant. Yeah, you want to be like other teams want the title. You just want to be like not a complete shithole of an organization. That's your high bar.
We just want people to like us.
Yeah, if we could just make the 8th seed every year, and the Knicks could be like the most valuable team in the league, and every year we'd be like, oh, we'll be good, and we make the 8th seed. That's the ideal here.
They want
Brooklyn. Brooklyn has Durant, Kyrie, and they may get Harden.
Mm-hmm.
The Knicks big 3 now are Toppin, RJ, and Mitch. What the?
How dare you leave Frank out of that? The greatest defender of all time.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe like the good thing though is for Toppin. Toppin's going to look at Knox and go, "I'm a pretty good defender."
That's true. I forgot about Knox. I am so upset with this team.
Yeah, like, hey Tibbs, I hear you're good at coaching defense. I'm not turning goddamn hay into gold. Like I can't just make it out of thin air. Like I can't just like Tibbs could not make Wiggins defend. Why would he be able to make Toppin defend?
You know, maybe their goal is to just have an entire roster of tweeners. You don't know where they're coming from because you don't know what position they play.
And I'm not saying Wiggins seemed like he's not. I don't know if Toppin's an unwilling defender. I'm sure he's willing. I just think he's not. They say he doesn't have great lateral movement, and he's not the most athletic.
I don't care if you're willing or not. Like, if you suck at defense, like, I don't think Amari was unwilling. I just think he had no idea where to stand on the court at certain times. And
yes, there's the awareness factor is huge, which Knox has no awareness.
No.
I mean, Knox's awareness, it's just like, I understand we're on defense now. That's the extent of it.
Right. I know which way I'm supposed to face.
Remember that one time Amari faced the wrong direction?
Yes.
I guess, do you think the front office is like, we have a great defensive coach, so it doesn't matter if we take a guy that can't play defense because he'll coach him and play well?
Yeah.
And they're like, he's going to be a great offensive talent, so it doesn't matter. Like, he'll become a passable defender, and
they just keep getting the same player over and over.
It really is. I mean, he's a different version of the same player. Like, Randall and Cantor aren't the same player, but they're kind of the same player.
And Bargs.
And Bar. They all have like different versions of the same player.
Right.
Like, it's like a big man who like is supposed to be pretty good on offense. Bargs wasn't as good as an offense as you'd hope. But like Randall and Cantor are both pretty solid at scoring. They just kind of hold the ball, not great passers, Cantor's more of like back at the rim. Randall can do a little more. Toppin can do a little more than that, but it's going to be hard to keep him on the floor. He's not going to do okay. And you know what? It's going to be great. You're like, he was really good offensive player at Dayton, but now we're in the NBA and guys put big man, like the other team's power forward is on him and he can't do shit.
Yeah, that might happen too. You never know.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, did you know the guys in the NBA are a lot bigger?
They're bigger than the guys that play in the Dayton conference.
Facebook questions?
Well, you know, the one good thing about this draft pick is that we're not going to be like, there's going to be no salivating about how young he is. He's one of the oldest guys in the draft. The Knicks like, no more young. Like, Frank is not as old as him right now, I think.
So who's going to be...
How old is Frank right now?
I don't know, 20, 21? I don't know.
Frank is 22. Frank has been in the league for 3 years. He's the same age as this guy.
He's older than Mitch.
He's older than Mitch. He's older than John Barrett. I mean, whatever. Everyone's going to be like, we still have such a young team. Great.
So who's
Ron Baker was young once also. He sucked.
Who's going to be the perennial all-star, Hayes or Avita? The guys drafted before and after the Knicks pick.
Hey, I think Hayes is going to be the guy we're going to talk about, where like the Knicks just missed out on Hayes, and then Knicks will be like, well, we tried to trade up to still not take him, so it doesn't really matter.
That would hurt less because the Knicks couldn't have gotten him.
Right. Like, everyone talks about like the Steph Curry thing. I'm like, the Knicks just couldn't have gotten him. I mean, they won some games at the end of the season. They screwed up, but in the draft, they had no chance of getting him.
But if it was like Devin Vassell or something, like, that's going to hurt.
Halliburton,
that's going to hurt.
I don't know. Yeah. I think it'll be Kyra Lewis. I think we'll look at him and go like, oh, that point guard that was on the board and was was just a very good point guard on the board, and the Knicks just didn't take him. I think Kyra Lewis is the Donovan McNabb of this draft. Not Donovan Mitchell of this draft. Okay, Facebook questions. Paul writes, I think we should move up and get LaMelo. Of course, he can be a bust, but whatever. Not sure if it's even possible, though. And we say we need a point guard, but once we get one, who will he pass to? He'll pass to Obi Toppin. We haven't had consistent shooters since Novak. The bigger question is there anyone talented who wouldn't be wasted on this franchise? Seems like no player, front office, or plan will fix the Knicks. That said, I think Leon Rose is a mistake, and Steve Stout is a clown.
Agree with all that.
You actually, before the show, wrote, I think if they draft Toppin, it's proof they'll only go after CAA guys.
Well,
you nailed it, Jay.
So far, that's what they're doing.
I mean, so the Knicks' two big needs coming into the draft were a point guard and guys that can shoot, especially from the outside.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nope. Neither. Neither. Hey, you already have a pretty solid offensive player who can't play defense and like power forward at Randall. Well, what if we get his doppelganger?
We just drafted Bandle.
Toppin also like so he grew like 6 inches in like towards the end of high school.
Mm-hmm.
So you think like, oh, if he was like playing basketball and he was shorter, he must have a really good handle, right?
Mm-hmm. You'd think that, yeah.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. I'm just saying you would think that.
Hmm.
Like that'd be like maybe he played more like a guard. The handle's kind of mediocre. Paul writes, we selected a power forward instead of Halliburton. If you had any question about our incompetence, we're getting Westbrook dumpster fired forever.
Yeah.
Frank writes, how high would you say the ceiling is for anti-Tomic? Eddie Curry, Jerome James, Frederick Rice, lower. So if you don't know anti I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. Tomic. He is a European player, big man. He was included. The draft rights to him were included in the pick swap from 27 to 23. He is he was drafted in 2008. This is the last year that Utah had any rights to him. He's 33 years old. There is a 0 chance of him coming to the NBA, according to all the sources I read. And why are you bringing over a 33-year-old guy at this point anyway?
True. Yeah.
That's never been the NBA, so he's not coming.
I mean, they did bring over Prigioni at 37.
No, I mean, fair. I mean, that also worked out well. Tomic supposedly is... So if there was a chance he's coming, if they actually think... If the Knicks, for some reason, have some inside info and they think he's actually going to come to the NBA, he's a solid guy to get, basically. He's supposedly a decent player.
Mm-hmm.
Just never had an interest in coming to the NBA prior to this, I guess. And Paul writes, no second French point guard for us.
Yeah. Nope. No, none.
Nope, no second point guard. Where are we in the show, Jay? How much more time? We almost done?
Yeah, we only have like 7 minutes left.
Okay. So Jay, at what point do we end the show?
Wait,
I'm getting so goddamn sick of this team. It's been a better part of a decade we've done the show.
Mm-hmm.
This team is so unbelievably frustrating. I don't know if us doing the show is somehow like we're the curse on this team, but it is so horrendous. And they keep doing things that are just ass backwards where you're like, there's no chance this goes anywhere. The Knicks' best chance may be just being terrible again. Supposedly the next draft is loaded. Maybe they get the number 1 pick and they get a Doncic-like player. That guy Cunningham's supposed to be really good. Maybe that's the answer. I don't know, but it's really, really hard to watch the team anymore.
I think if they trade a bunch of, I want to say the word assets. I'm not sure if that's what the Knicks have.
The Knicks have draft picks. They have Barrett and they have Mitch. And I guess Toppin now. There's no one else that's really an asset. I guess Frank or Knox is an asset, though if you trade, I mean, if either one's gone, who gives a shit?
So
it's really the draft
I'm
picks.
saying if they trade a large portion of those for Westbrook, that might be it for me.
Or do we just like stick with it a little while to see how horrible it is with Westbrook and then just be like, okay, we're done. It looks like the season's over and it'll be December 27th.
Jim writes, does Obi mean the end of Portis?
Yeah, I thought just not having a complete brain dead team management meant the end of Portis. Why would you bring Portis back?
I thought, yeah, Portis meant the end of Portis.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, who's a pretty solid big man who can score, but not the best on defense? Bobby Portis.
But that's all the Knicks have. They have the same player. Portis is Randall, is Toppin. They're all the same person.
Hey guys, you know what? I know this offseason is going to be weird. We're going to sign 4 power forwards, but you know what? Next year's draft, we'll draft the power forward.
I can't wait to see which power forward from CAA they sign next year.
The Knicks just like something like their draft board. They have like an error where they can only see the power forwards. There are only power forwards left. I guess we'll have to take Toppin. I hate this team.
Mhm.
And there's a whole thing, like I was hearing on the radio, they were like, on ESPN radio, they're like, well, I think he's from Brooklyn, and he like really wants to be here. Like they have like somehow the Knicks, they're obsessed with the idea of like, well, he's from the area, as if it matters at all. I don't have to care if the guy if the guy if the guy grew up in goddamn Serbia, I don't care as long as he's freaking good. He doesn't have to be connected to the area. And then the Knicks are also like, hey, he wants to be here. Well, you're paying him a lot of money, so he wants to be here. No other team is like, well, he wants to be here is one of the criteria for who they sign.
Well, that's just, when you're grasping at as many straws as the Knicks are, then you start bringing up like hometowns and.
Hey, were you watching on ESPN when they did the draft? Here's what's crazy. This is what the worst thing is. Tomorrow, I told my son he doesn't even know about the podcast. But I was like, I'm going to do the show with Jay. I'm going to do this with him, and I don't want to know about the draft, but I'm going to watch the draft with him tomorrow morning, and I'm going to have to pretend who the Knicks are going to draft. I'm going to have to be like, I hope Toppin's available at number 8. Hopefully, I'm going to watch this draft with him and pretend it's a good thing when they get Toppin. Because he's 9 years old. He's already catching on to teams a goddamn dumpster fire. Like, I convinced him on Frank. Then I convinced him at Knox. Then when they drafted Barrett, my son's like, why do we think he's going to be good? Well, he's going to be really good. He's like, but the last 2 guys we drafted were terrible. You're already figuring this out, are you? And now I'm going to talk him at the top.
How are you going to spin that?
Well, he's 9, so it's like I could just say things and that's the reality.
Hmm.
So I'm going to tell him he's not going to know if Toppin. He's not going to be like, but Dad, Toppin doesn't play defense. I mean, that would be a little bit too much insight.
Yeah.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning at 6:30. We're going to watch before he goes to school, and I'm going to tell him. I'm going to be like, hey, there's this guy Toppin. He's really good on offense. Like he could be like a big thing for the Knicks to get, but it thinks that he's probably going to go early. The Knicks not going to get him. And then every pick, I'm going to be like, oh, Toppin didn't go. Toppin didn't go. Then he's going to ask his mom, my wife, to get him a Toppin jersey for Hanukkah. And I'm going to turn to my wife and go, don't fucking get him a Toppin jersey. He's fucking awful. My son will be like, what'd you say to mommy? Nothing. Just wear your Barrett jersey, okay?
I said they're sold out.
They're sold out. They don't make them, okay? They don't have enough tiers to make the jersey.
All right, we are out of time. We'll stay in the live chat for the pick because the Knicks are picking next. But for the podcast, we have to go. Twitch.tv/crumpledbacon. We're going to start doing shows live, so you can check it out there. Join the chat. Be a lot of fun. And yeah, goodbye, everybody.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl.
Goodbye, 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 everybody. It looks like the Timberwolves might add Rubio.
The Timberwolves might add Rubio?
Yeah, he might be traded again.
Rubio is he's a good player, but he gets traded all the time.
I mean, Timberwolves in talk to add Rubio in a trade. The Thunder reportedly would require the 17th pick overall in exchange for Rubio, the 25th and the 28th overall picks. So it's basically the Thunder move up. That'd be a pretty good move for the Thunder. I mean, you know what? I don't know how it's going to work out for the Thunder, but seems pretty smart to go all in on getting a lot of draft picks and seeing who you get.
So the guys in our chat want RJ Hampton.
Okay.
The Knicks Denver's up right now. And then the Knicks pick.
Okay.
So I figure we'll just stay in the chat until that happens.
Yeah, of course. So that makes a lot of sense. What do you
for those people in the chat? We have to do the show under an hour for Dash Radio but we can.
You know,
Stay in-
Dash Radio, the thing that no one's ever heard of.
Mark's convinced Dash Radio doesn't exist, but we did come to an agreement with them to make the show under an hour. But now that we're starting to do the Twitch thing, we could do like extra content and.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, an hour show is probably as much as like when I download a podcast, an hour is pretty good anyway for me.
Yeah.
Oh, so Cole Anthony. So I'm looking at the rest of the draft now that I'm live. Naismith is supposed to be the best shooter. He went to the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
And Cole Anthony would have been interesting. Did Kyra Lewis won 13th? Okay, I was like, is there any chance Kyra Lewis is still on the board? Like, that would have been pretty cool.
Cole Anthony moved up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like he also fell a lot, so like,
Yeah, that's true. Wasn't he
balances
number
out.
one at one point?
He was number one. You said
Yeah, like
he was
6 or 8
a
months
top
ago.
5. He was considered a top 5 at some point. Yeah. Maxey was supposed to be. So you know what? Who they want Hampton? I don't. That guy Malachi Flynn is available also, and Tyrell Terry. I don't see Terry off the board either. So there were 3 point guards here that would be reasonable to take.
So is there a CAA forward that's still on the board?
Watch the Knicks take another forward. I assume you're assuming the Knicks are going to take a point guard here, right?
I mean,
Like it's almost impossible for the Knicks not to take a point guard here.
when it comes to the Knicks, anything is possible.
There were 3 point guards on the board. I am not saying any of them are like. I would say that guy Flynn sounded interesting, even though he's a little undersized. That guy Tyrell Terry sounded fine. I mean, I don't know enough about those guys. There was one of our fans said that Malachi Flynn was supposed to be like an offensive star. Whatever. I just got to get a point guard. Hampton was a guy they talked about. He was talked up for a while, and then somehow he like fell off. I guess I don't know his name. He kind of fell down the list.
So the Knicks.
I
are
don't
on the
know
clock
enough
right
about
now.
Hampton to.
Looks like
I'm not. Are you the Knicks pick? Are you watching? Or
no, they're on the clock. I'm just refreshing NBA.com.
Okay.
So it looks like Jim and Dart want RJ, and Virulent wants Terry or Flynn. So that means the Knicks are going to draft none of those guys.
The Knicks are going to take a center. That's who it's going to be. Just like all bigs all day.
They're gonna take a guy that's projected like 35th.
They're going to be listen. You know, when Tibbs was the coach in Chicago, they at one point they ran the point through Joakim Noah. We can do it with Randall. Randall's our point forward.
What happens if you don't know it's your time to pick and the time expires? Is it like a fantasy draft where that you just get the next guy on the board? Because I could see the Knicks still thinking they have the 27th pick and just.
I mean, the Knicks are dumb enough to like have that happen, but like I don't think it's ever actually happened in draft. I mean, in theory, I think you forfeit your pick, but I don't
Would
think.
that be funny if Adam Silver came up and like, yeah, the Knicks forgot it was their turn, so that they have no pick now.
I mean, in theory, the Knicks traded up, and they would not have had these 3 point guards on the board if they waited, or maybe they wouldn't have. But like, these guys were all projected to be around here. I'd be happy with any of the 3. I'm going to go with Malachi Flynn as being the guy I'd like, but I'm fine with any point guard. They have to take a goddamn point guard. If you're trading for Westbrook, you'd want another point guard to develop under him because Westbrook's not exactly young and will not be healthy for half the season anyway.
Who's the guy who broke his toe?
Okongwu.
Okay.
He went obviously much higher.
Yeah, he went 6th. He actually went up higher than I thought he was going to go, so didn't really.
Yeah, they said the injury wasn't that big of a deal. They didn't think the injury was that big of a deal.
I don't get I feel like if I broke my toe, I'd be hobbled for months. In the NBA, they're like, yeah, he'll be limping for like 2 days, and then he'll be back to full court.
I mean, everything that happens to like actual athletes, they're fine because they have like amazing medical staff, and like if I sprain my ankle, I can't walk for like weeks. These guys are like, I sprained my ankle in the first quarter. My foot actually fell off. I'll be back by the third quarter.
Remember when like David Lee like broke his hip or something, and he was in the playoffs like a week later? I was like, that doesn't seem possible.
It is unbelievable stuff they do. I also feel like they like shoot them up with so many like probably not the safest stuff they shoot them up with.
I'm hearing a lot of chat room is saying, "What the fuck? This can't be good." NBA.com hasn't refreshed yet. I don't know who they picked.
Okay.
My TV's in the other room.
I mean, I'm not. My TV's upstairs. I mean, like, if they didn't take, okay.
Wait, they traded the pick?
Wait, what?
They traded down. Tell me that's
no, they didn't. I see on NBA.com. I mean, on ESPN, I see a pick. They didn't trade down.
I don't know.
So the pick I see is Leandro Bolmaro. He's from Argentina. He's a shooting guard, clearly an international CAA client.
So wait, where was that guy?
Jake, can we curse?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Where was
fucking hate this team so fucking much.
Wait, where was Bolmaro projected?
He was projected to not be allowed in this country. That's what he's projected. Okay.
So
I have no idea. I've never even heard of him.
So Shams just tweeted that they're trading that pick for the numbers 25 and 33.
Oh, he's projected 26 according to this draft board I'm looking at here. According to this mock draft, he was.
So wait, they traded 34 and 27 for 23 to flip that for 25 and 33.
Oh, I'm sorry. A blood vessel popped in my head. Could you repeat that? So they had 38 and 27.
Yeah.
And they've now turned 38 and 27 to 25 and 33.
Yeah.
Well, that's better.
It's better.
No, I mean the Knicks are just like unbelievably frustrating, but like that's like a smart, like that's some smart chess there, I guess, because you moved up on both picks.
Well, let's see what the pick is first.
Well, also, did the Knicks do anything? Like, there's someone else attached to this? Like, also, they had to do this pick. They trade away next year's first round pick or something like that.
they traded Frank and RJ to move down.
Like just something completely insane. We're looking for the Woj bombs, right?
So New Orleans is picking RJ Hampton. And trading.
Wait, number 23. Did they take? So Leandro has been traded.
They're trading it to Minnesota to get the 25 and 33. So they could have traded Hampton. They could have got Hampton, but they traded
Hampton.
Pick.
Hampton went to who?
New Orleans at 24.
Okay, well that's fine actually, because I mean realistically, the point guards I preferred. I mean Hampton might be. I don't know enough about these guys, but I Lewis or Terry or who I prefer. So the Knicks can still get them at 25.
Yeah, we'll find out in a minute.
I'd be much like the dude from Argentina. I'm sure he's a nice person. I'd be so goddamn mad if that was the pick. I mean, realistically, this is a weird way to do things, but like if you're like, we like all 3 point guards, why don't we trade down, get this, and we could still get the point guard we want?
Yeah.
Like, we're fine. Like, I mean, like you never know. Like, is Terry or either guy going to be necessarily better? So it's not insane.
Yeah.
All right. So
this team, man, I don't know.
So this is not a terrible move.
No. Not yet.
Who are the Knicks going to get? So I am fine with Malachi Flynn. I am fine with Tyrell Terry. If it's anyone else, I'm going to be kind of angry.
Yeah.
I don't mind Hampton being gone. I just wanted one of these. What are you doing, Jay?
I am trying to edit the episode.
Okay. Can you do this on your own time, Jay? Just do it after the pick is over. Okay. Yeah, either one would be fine. That really wasn't quite a what the fuck moment, but
I got scared for a minute because I thought they didn't draft a point guard again, which would have been very upsetting.
Yeah. Hampton also, he plays in I think he played in New Zealand. Like, I'm sure he's good, but like, I don't know, maybe you're better off getting a guy who's playing in the US ball. I don't know. Trying to yeah, anyway, Flynn is supposed to be pretty good. I'm happy with him. He's only 6'1", which is an issue, and that's probably why he fell.
Yeah.
And that's kind of small for a point guard. Which means like even if he's supposedly not a bad defender, he just doesn't have the size.
Right.
Terry is 6'3", and again, by the way, 6'1" is still taller than me. I'm 5'11", but Terry is supposed to be 6'3", 170. Also, not a big guard, but it'd be interesting. Either one's supposed to be a pretty solid player to get. It's funny because I'm gonna like the second pick, like the late first round pick, so much more than the first pick. Like we're both gonna agree the 25 pick is gonna be someone we like so much better than the 8.
Well, that's what
right?
happened last year too.
Oh, last year was the no, you mean 2 years ago. You mean like with Mitch and Knox.
Yeah.
Is this pick gonna happen?
These picks are way too slow.
I mean, this is just like
It's
come
2.5
on.
hours. Like
They devote tomorrow night to the second round. Who cares about the goddamn second round? Just keep it. Move shit along. You know, like you do fantasy football in the first couple rounds or fantasy basketball, you have like extra time. Then like rounds 4 on, they're like 30 seconds. Just make your fucking pick.
so. If it really was 5 minutes per pick, and they're on pick 24, it should only be 9:55 right now.
Oh my god. Oh, is it only 5 minutes and it's still?
Yeah, it's clearly not 5 minutes because we're 35 minutes behind.
Is this on ESPN?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Is that real? The Knicks took Emmanuel quickly. Where was he?
How fast do you want to give up on this team? Quickly. What?
So where was quickly projected, and what position does he play, and why is he?
He's a point guard.
Okay.
He's from Kentucky, and Kentucky doesn't produce anyone bad. Knox. Pre-draft analysis quickly emerged as one of the top guards in college basketball, winning SEC Player of the Year, 18 points a game, 14.6 rebounds a game, shooting 48% from three. After playing guard after playing point guard early in his career, quickly largely came off the bench as a freshman behind Tyler Hero and Ashton Higgins. As a sophomore, what year is he? Is he a sophomore or a junior?
Okay, so it's a guy we know nothing about, clearly.
I mean, as the first time I've ever heard of him was the guy when they took him. He's a sophomore. I mean, it doesn't mean like he's bad because we haven't heard of him. I don't follow college that closely. It's just like, was shocked to see quickly going second round in most mocks. Makes sense. He's off the board. Definitely a first round talent.
It's just there was so many point guards available. They should have taken 2.
Well, they have the 33 pick, so maybe one of these guys will still be available. I mean, I guess the second round's not going to be till tomorrow, right?
If by tomorrow you mean after midnight, yeah.
No, I think they literally do it tomorrow night. I mean, or do they keep going tonight?
I thought they did it tonight. Are they really doing a 2-day thing?
I think they might be. Yeah. Well, the NFL does that, but the second round people give a shit about.
I can't. You know, if you guys in the chat were messing with me, I wouldn't even be able to tell at this point. Jim just wrote, according to Windhorst, they're trading 33.
What? Is that? I mean, that could be true.
I wonder if they're just going to get like cash considerations.
You know, the only good thing about this is that I can stop hearing about who the fuck the Knicks are going to draft.
Yeah.
Like it's since, like in January, people were like, "Who do you think the Knicks are going to get because the season's over?" And then since March, there's been literally nothing else to talk about than who the Knicks are going to draft. And now we know it's a fucking nightmare, but at least it's over.
Yeah, I don't know. I need some time to process this, I think.
I
know I don't feel good about it, but I got to see how mad I am tomorrow.
DraftNet projected. So, Emmanuel Quickly, DraftNet. I mean, not the NBA DraftNet projected him to be the 42nd pick. NBC Sports projected him to be 59th. Tankathon had him 54th. Sports Illustrated had him 34th.
Who is this?
The guy they just drafted at 25.
Andrew said they're trading the 33rd pick for shares in Dash Radio.
That was good. That was a really good one. So the obvious strength of Quickly is shooting. He's a good shooter, so that's good.
I'm super excited right now.
His weaknesses, by the way, I was reading a thing on Toppin before, and they were like, for weaknesses, they were I think the first sentence was, "Where do we begin?"
I saw something about like just a pathetic defender, like
in the NBA. Quickly will have to run point guard as his size and lack of super athleticism could be seen as disadvantage at the shooting guard position. Quickly was the third guard in a 3-guard set, playing in a very small ball lineup. So if he ends up in a place such as Houston or Golden State, it could be beneficial and play more to his style. Explosiveness is another trait that Quickly lacks.
So is the whole thing like good words, and then like it's like good shooting is something he doesn't have. Explosiveness, not for this.
Sorry,
guy.
I didn't put this together, but until I just saw it. His initials are IQ.
And his name is Quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is like everything you're going to talk about what's wrong with his team. They're quickly becoming a dumpster fire. They're quickly tanking. They have no IQ. Quickly's going to assume some point guard duties in the league. He did not have much experience running point guard at Kentucky. His career assist average at Kentucky is, wait for it, 1.5 assists per game.
I mean,
that's our point guard.
It's more than
of the
one.
future.
It's more than
yes. One. And it isn't IQ's fault. His nickname's already IQ.
With IQ, you'd think you'd average more than 1 assist a game.
His NBA IQ is pretty high. He's projected as a second rounder, rating anywhere from early second to late second.
Or the Knicks will trade up for him.
I mean,
all right. Well, that was something. I guess we'll be back soon for the free agency wrap up.
Yeah, we should probably record like Sunday. There's going to be the free agency starts Friday, so the Knicks will have already done something fucking retarded by then. Well, we could wait like to say like the retarded meter and be like, okay, wait, is there anything else? No, the Knicks can't do anything else. Like they've already gone full retard. So let's do the podcast.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, if
I think Sunday or Monday probably makes sense.
If they do their big trade, we'll do it sooner. I know it's coming, so we'll record right after they do whatever big trade they got planned. Thanks everybody who joined us. I think we're going to start doing this. Did you like the live thing? Or it didn't matter for you, right?
Oh, and I don't care. I'm just like, what the fuck? I mean, like, what the fuck? Really, like, can we fire Rose now? Like, Rose is the fucking dumbest hire by the dumbest owner in sports. At least, like, Phil Jackson, you were like, hey, he knows so much about the NBA, one of the greatest coaches of all time. Now we're like, hey, who can get guys from CAA jobs?
I mean, what do you call that thing where you get like your siblings' jobs? Isn't there like a term for that?
Oh, it's called nepotism.
Yeah, isn't this like CAA nepotism?
Yeah, probably.
You just look like a broken shell of a man right now.
I am just like,
It's going to be okay. Not for the Knicks, but life in general.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
what
I'm sorry, like as far as high hopes for the season, maybe like coronavirus just cancels the season. Maybe that'll be good.
So when we transition this to a video game channel, what PlayStation games would you like to see us play? Email us, nynixpodcast@gmail.com.
Can we do 2K over this thing?
Yeah. I mean, we both have to get 2K. Oh, yeah,
I
you
have
got it
2.
already.
Yeah, I have 2K ready. Maybe like it's not that expensive, or maybe if we do the maybe it might be on what's that thing?
PlayStation Now?
Yeah, maybe it's on there. That'd be cool. I mean, like, be cool to play basketball, play a game like that while we're doing the podcast.
I mean, we can redo the draft and do it good. I felt like there was a plan when they traded up. I felt like there was a plan.
There wasn't.
Doesn't seem like there was.
I thought when they traded Porzingis, there was a plan. I thought when they hired Phil, there was a plan. I thought it many times in the past there was a plan. There's never a fucking plan.
So I'm
I
seeing.
mean, Rose will tap in, like, be like, hey, we turned the 27th and the 38th pick to both the higher picks. That's great. But what the fuck did you do with it? I mean, quickly could be good. Who the hell knows? I mean, there are a lot of second round players that end up being good. We don't know. I never watched a moment of quickly playing. Maybe he'll end up being really good. Maybe he'll quickly ascend to the Hall of Fame.
Sure. I'm seeing Spider-Man, Fall Guys, and Among Us.
Oh, on now?
Yeah. Well, no, that's suggestions from the chat.
Oh, okay.
I played Spider-Man. It's good. Fall Guys, we actually have planned to play soon.
Yeah, I have Fall Guys too. I do Spider. I mean, we don't have Spider-Man. If it's on now, we can figure this out off the chat.
Yeah, I'm just reading the suggestions.
Oh no, they're all good suggestions. Spider-Man would be cool. I think that'd be a fun game. I've never played it, but like I'd be down for that one.
I have all 3 of those, so we could figure something out.
Let's try to figure out what's on now, because so I don't have to buy 17 different games.
Yeah. I'm planning on getting PlayStation Now probably next week. So
okay, so I'd be down for getting Now and buying one game, and then like see how it goes from there.
I mean, I think if we get PlayStation Now, there'll be a lot of games we could play, so we should be okay once we do.
Right,
that.
we also haven't done too many of these streams, so we don't even know how well this is going to work out. So
we're huge already, though.
Yeah, huge.
Anyway.
What do you think of the last one we did? That was without the audio issues.
Yeah, it was fine. We played Street Fighter V a couple days ago. Yeah, I mean, I don't think either of us really liked the game, so that didn't help.
Okay, let's call it a night, Jay.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Okay, later, guys.